Hey guys, welcome to Open House Night 2018. Unfortunately, if you are watching this, you know that I'm not here. And the reason for that, I'm the boys tennis coach at Highland High School, and we had a match at Lake Central. I was hoping the match would get over relatively quickly, and I could be able to join you guys and walk you through my classroom and what your son and daughters can expect to experience in psych class this year. But unfortunately, it didn't get done in time. So hopefully, this video will serve as a little guide to what your son or daughter can expect and what they've seen so far in class. That's me right there. My name is Jordan Heckard. This is my 11th year teaching. This is my 7th year at the school town of Highland. I taught a year at the middle school, and this is 6th at Highland High School. My contact information is right there. You can email me. It's my easiest form of communication where I can be accessible pretty much all the time. jheckard@highland.k12.in.us. This is our school page found on the School Town of Highlands website. You look up here on the left-hand side, this tab, you've got calendar, useful links, ways to contact me, classroom files, and then textbook chapters. Eventually, there will be PDFs of our psych book on there. Down here at the bottom, you can find the different classroom documents that will be needed right now. The documents on the back table can be found, the psych classroom guidelines and the psychology semester schedule. We will use our Google Classroom page a ton this year, and Google Classroom is a great tool, a great resource provided. So, it'll allow students to stay up to date with assignments. This looks at all the classwork so far that we've had. We've had a lot of stuff since day one last week, and everything that's posted shows due date if it's going to be assigned with due in the future. Most of the stuff we do is in class, but any assignment that is due in a couple days or next week or whatever the case may be, it'll tell you when the due date is. And this is it's a useful tool for students to be able to keep everything organized and know what's expected when things are due, and how they can turn it in. There are ways on here for them to leave me comments, ask questions. Eventually we'll do discussion posts on here where students can go back and forth and comment on other students' posts and create a nice classroom dialogue. For psychology class, this is an elective. It's not a required course, but at the same time we follow the state standards on psychology courses. Our curriculum is pretty rigorous. This goes through. We start off talking kind of about the foundations of psychology and go through the different theories, a lot of the different fundamental psychologists and their studies, and we look at eventually the biological background of psychology. Really kind of diving deep into the brain and a lot of our mental processes and why we think the way we do, why we behave the way we do. This is a class that looks at behavior, but it also looks at why people develop the way they do, socially, physically, emotionally, and our class moves pretty quickly through all of these layers. Routine in class is pretty straightforward. We start out with a bell ringer and discussion. And then we go into the lesson. If there's homework, they usually will have time in class to do it. My attendance policy is just straightforward from the parent-student handbook. In regards to electronic devices, our iPads are going to be used every day in class. So they need to be charged and ready to roll, right at the start of class. Grading scale is just what's listed in the handbook. And in terms of how I do my grades in here, everything is by points. Obviously, the bigger assignments, projects, and tests are worth the most points. There will be a quarterly test at the end of the first quarter, and that will have a written portion as well. I do accept late work. All late work, if it's a day late, it has 20% penalty, 2 days, 40%, 3 days, 60%, so on and so forth. But, feel free to grab one of these pages on the back table and familiarize yourself with my guidelines and rules for class. This is a class that moves relatively quickly, so there will be times that if students have questions, they can always ask me, send me emails, and I'll be as prompt as I can in getting that to them. Look at our schedule. This is our schedule for this year. If I tell students if they know they're going to miss a week, or they're going to a wedding in October and they're going to miss a couple days, or whatever the case may be, this gives them a pretty good snapshot of where we're going to be at throughout the semester. So this is also on the back table, but it just kind of highlights what to expect, what we're going to go through, whether it's the history of psychology, moving through the biological basis, development, cognition, into personality, abnormal psychology, and then some different sociocultural dimensions and psychological thinking at the end of the semester. So, in a nutshell, this is it's a class that I'm excited about. Students have had a great first week and a half. The classroom discussion has been great. It's a class that is probably different from any other classes they've taken. It's not quite a social studies class. It's not quite a science class. I tell them it's got a nice mix of both. It's called a social science. If they've taken sociology, that would be the class that is probably most similar. But if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, jheckard@highland.k12.in.us. But I'm looking forward to a great semester. And if you guys need anything, feel free to reach out. Hope you guys have a great rest of the evening, and good luck finding your son or daughter's classes.